Greetings loyal subscribers and honoured guests. Today I have something a little bit different for you. I recently subscribed to a service called My Retro Game Box, which is a bit like something like Loot Crate or Nerd Block, where you get a mystery box of items once a month, but instead of it being t-shirts and toys and that sort of thing, this time you actually get retro game cartridges for systems like the Mega Drive, the SNES, the N64, the Master System, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color. I think that's all of them, though I might be forgetting one. So this part of the video is my unboxing of my first My Retro Game Box to see what I get. You typically get between 2 and 4 games, although I have seen people get 5 or yeah, 5 is the maximum, I think. So let's take a look at what I've got. I have actually just scored the box with some scissors so I can get in. So the first one is definitely a Game Boy game of some kind. They all come in these little sort of sweet shop bags, which is cool. So let's have a look and see what Game Boy game. It's Game Boy Advance actually. I don't know whether you'll be able to see very well, but it's Bubble Bobble Old and New. Definitely a game I haven't got. I think it's a pretty good version of Bubble Bobbles. Some of the Bubble Bobble ports have been terrible over the years, like I think the DS one was not very good, but I think Old and New was a decent one. They didn't mess it up, didn't mess with the formula too much. That one, oops. The next one, so we've got at least 3 in here. I think there's probably only 3, I think, because the next 2 look like they're boxed. So next we've got quite a big game, and it's solid, so it's probably either Master System or Mega Drive. So let's take a look. A little bit of sticky tape on this one, so just trying to get through. Oh, Mega Drive. Oh, pretty good. Excuse me while I put that in the bin. The next one is Virtua Racing. I think I do have a Saturn version of this actually, but I don't have the Mega Drive, so it's nice to have. Oh, it's a big cartridge as well. This must be because it has special chips inside for the 3D. It's boxed and complete. Yeah, that's a nice game. I did say I like racing games on the form that you have to fill out, so they paid attention to that by the look of it. Oh, and now another box game, and I think this is the last one. Yes. So let's see what this is. And I'll just put this down here. Oh, cool. It's a Master System game, and it is Star Wars. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the variety of games that they've sent me for my first box. Again, I had no idea what to expect really. I have watched lots of other unboxings, but everybody's is different, of course. So I haven't played any of these games except for I've played Virtua Racing in the arcade and on the Saturn. So that's cool. I forgot to mention at the start of the video that I'm also planning to play each of these games on the Retron 5 and capture a little bit, and then give my thoughts on each one there. on the games themselves. That won't have any reflection on my thoughts for my retro game box. I already think it's worthwhile, at least this month. Sometimes people get games that are not so good, but hopefully these will be at least decent, and 2 out of 3 are boxed, so I can't really complain. So that's the end of this part, so I'll switch over to footage of the games next. Bubble Bobble Old and New is a pretty decent version of the classic Taito game on the Game Boy Advance. The old mode is a pretty straightforward port of the old arcade game, with everything pretty much as you would remember it. The levels do scroll slightly on the top and bottom, which is not ideal, but it doesn't ruin the game by any means. It's just a shame that you can't continue in single player mode, because that makes it very hard to make any progress without resorting to cheats. The new mode is the same basic game but tarted up with different graphics and slightly overhauled sound. The familiar Bubble Bobble theme tune gets a bit of a remix in this mode, and some speech has been added. Personally, I prefer the classic mode, but this one does actually let you use continues, so it is a bit on the easier side in that regard. If you do know someone else with a GBA and you own a link cable, you can enjoy some multiplayer gaming with just one cartridge, which is very nice. On the whole, this is not a bad effort from Taito and worth adding to your GBA collection if you're a Bubble Bobble fan. In the same way that Star Fox made use of the special effects chip in order to get 3D graphics working on the SNES, Virtua Racing makes use of a special graphics chip to allow this arcade racer to run on the Mega Drive. Virtua Racing was one of the very first full 3D racing games to come into existence, along with Namco's Ridge Racer, and I used to love playing the arcade machine back when it was new. While the game is quite technically impressive on the Mega Drive, it hasn't exactly aged very well, and this isn't the ideal version of the game. The graphics are very squashed and narrow, and the digital controls make steering harder than it needs to be. Virtua Racing was released again later on the Sega Saturn, and that version was greatly improved, both visually and in terms of controls, as the Saturn had a very good analog controller. Not a horrible game by any means then, but not great. The final game this month is Star Wars for the Master System. This game is very tough because the jumping feels very floaty and you tend to slide a bit when you land, which often result in you falling off the tiny platforms and getting stuck on the spikes below. The game also doesn't give you very much information about where you need to go, so you will roam around in your land speeder aimlessly until you find another cave full of perilous jumps. I don't see myself making much headway in Star Wars without the aid of cheats. Luckily the Retron 5 supports cheats codes if you have downloaded the database from the website, so one day I will turn on Infinite Lives and check out the rest of what the game has to offer. I don't know how anyone was supposed to be able to make any progress by fair means back in the day, to be honest, but it still is an interesting game. That's it for this My Retro Gamebox video for this month. See you again in May to see what I get next time.